Pao Chai, upon catching this sneering remark, at once turned her head round and pretended she had not heard. But as soon as Pao Yu learned that she, Xiang Yun, possessed a similar trinket, he speedily picked up the unicorn and hid it in his breast, indulging at the same time in further reflection. Yet fearing lest people might have noticed that he kept back that particular thing the moment he discovered that she, Xiang Yun, had one identical with it, he fixed his eyes intently upon all around while clutching it. He found, however, that not one of them was paying any heed to his movements except Lin Taiyu, who, while gazing at him, was nodding her head, as if with the idea of expressing her admiration. Pao Yu, therefore, at once felt inwardly ill at ease, and pulling out his hand, he observed, addressing himself to Dai Yu with an assumed smile, "This is really a fine thing to play with. I'll keep it for you, and when we get back home, I'll pass a ribbon through it for you to wear." "I don't care about it," said Lin Taiyu, giving her head a sudden twist. "Well," continued Pao Yu laughingly, "if you don't like it, I can't do otherwise than keep it myself." Saying this, he once again thrust it away. But just as he was about to open his lips to make some other observation, he saw Mrs. Yu, the spouse of Jia Zhen, arrive along with the second wife recently married by Jia Reng, that is, his mother and her daughter-in-law, to pay their obeisances to Dowager Lady Jia. "What do you people rush over here for again?" old Lady Jia inquired. "I came here for a turn simply because I had nothing to do." But no sooner was this inquiry concluded than they heard a messenger announce that someone had come from the house of General Feng. The family of Feng Zuying had, it must be explained, come to learn the news that the inmates of the Jia mansion were offering a Thanksgiving service in the temple, and without loss of time, they got together presents of pigs, sheep, candles, tea, and edibles and sent them over. The moment Lady Feng heard about it, she hastily crossed to the main part of the two-storied building. "Ayah!" she ejaculated, clapping her hands and laughing. "I never expected anything of the sort. We merely said that we ladies were coming for a leisurely stroll, and people imagined that we were spreading a sumptuous altar with Lenten viands and came to bring us offerings. But it's all our old lady's fault for brooding it about. Why, we haven't even got any slips of paper with tips ready." She had just finished speaking when she perceived two matrons who acted as housekeepers in the Feng family walk upstairs. But before the Feng servants could take their leave, presents likewise arrived in quick succession from Jia, the vice president of the board. In due course, one lot of visitors followed another. For as everyone got wind of the fact that the Jia family was having Thanksgiving services and that the ladies were in the temple, distant and close relatives, friends, old friends, and acquaintances all came to present their contributions. So much so that Dowager Lady Jia began at this juncture to feel sorry that she had ever let the cat out of the bag. "This is no regular fasting," she said. "We simply have come for a little change, and we should not have put anyone to any inconvenience." So, therefore, she was to remain present all day at the theatrical performance. She promptly returned home soon after noon, and the next day she felt very loath to go out of doors again. "By striking the wall, we've also stirred up dust," Lady Feng argued. "Why, we've already put those people to the trouble, so we should only be too glad today to have another outing." But as when Dowager Lady Jia interviewed the Taoist Chang the previous day, he made allusion to Pao Yu and canvassed his engagement, Pao Yu experienced, little one would have thought it, much secret displeasure during the whole day, and on his return home, he flew into a rage and abused Chang, the rationalist priest, for harboring designs to try and settle a match for him. At every breath and at every word, he resolved that henceforward he would not set eyes again upon the Taoist. But no one but himself had any idea of the reason that actuated him to absent himself. In the next place, Lin Taiyu began also on her return the day before to ail from a touch of the sun. So their grandmother was induced by these two considerations to remain firm in her decision not to go. But when Lady Feng found that she would not join them, she herself took charge of the family party and set out on the excursion. But without descending to particulars, let us advert to Pao Yu. Seeing that Lin Taiyu had fallen ill, he was so full of solicitude on her account that he even had little thought for any of his meals, and not long elapsed before he came to inquire how she was. Dai Yu, on her part, gave way to fear lest anything should happen to him, so she tried to reassure him. Just go and look at the plays. What's the use of boxing yourself up at home? Pao Yu was, however, not in a very happy frame of mind on account of the reference to his marriage made by Cheng, the Taoist, the day before. So, when he heard Lin Taiyu's utterances, "If others don't understand me, it's anyhow excusable, but has she too begun to make fun of me?" His heart smarted in consequence under the sting of a mortification 100 times keener than he had experienced up to that occasion. Had it been with anyone else, it would have been utterly impossible for her to have brought into play feelings of such resentment. But as it was no other than Dai Yu who spoke the words, the impression produced upon him was indeed different from that left in days gone by when others employed similar language. Unable to curb his feelings, he instantaneously lowered his face. "My friendship with you has been of no avail, but never mind, patience." This insinuation induced Dai Yu to smile a couple of sarcastic smiles. "Yes, your friendship with me has been of no avail, for how can I compare with those whose manifold qualities make them fit matches for you?" As soon as this sneer fell on Pao Yu's ear, he drew near to her. "Are you by telling me this deliberately bent on invoking imprecations upon me that I should be annihilated by heaven and extinguished by earth?" Lin Taiyu could not for a time fathom the import of his remarks. "It was," Pao Yu then resumed, "on account of this very conversation that I yesterday swore several oaths, and now would you really make me repeat another one? But were the heavens to annihilate me and the earth to extinguish me, what benefit would you derive?" This rejoinder reminded Taiyu of the drift of their conversation on the previous day, and as she had indeed on this occasion framed in words those sentiments which should not have dropped from her lips, she experienced both annoyance and shame, and she tremulously observed, "If I entertain any deliberate intention to bring any harm upon you, may I also be destroyed by heaven and exterminated by earth. But what's the use of all this? I know very well that the allusion to marriage made yesterday by Cheng, the Taoist, fills you with dread lest he might interfere with your choice. You are inwardly so irate that you come and treat me as your malignant influence."